Hey guys, Ben Hess here with Adobe Stock and Epidemic Sound, and in this video we're going over how loud your music should be. For the longest time, I always struggled with trying to figure out how loud my music and dialogue should be when editing videos. Sometimes everything would be too quiet, or other times it would be way too loud and you couldn't hear the dialogue.
Music matters to me because it sets the mood for the story that I'm trying to tell. Music matters to me because it sets the mood for the story that I'm trying to tell.
Over the years, I've learned a few tips and tricks that should help get you the perfect levels every time. The main thing to understand with audio is that it's like a box. There's only so much audio you can add in before it starts to clip and sound distorted. If you're looking at your audio meters and it's constantly hitting 0 dB and lighting up red, that means you've hit the limit and your audio is starting to distort. In other words, the box is full. And you don't want to try to get as close to red as possible. You actually want to stay a little bit under. A good rule of thumb is to try to keep your entire project with all the audio under -6 dB. Louder isn't always better, but it's about how well you balance your dialogue, music, and sound effects. Now, when it comes to setting proper music levels in your films, the answer is pretty simple, honestly. Set your dialogue and adjust the music accordingly. Aim to have your dialogue around -12 dB and adjust the volume so it averages around there. Using the audio track mixer, you can see how loud the audio is from that specific track. This is different from the audio clip mixer. So go to the top in Premiere Pro and you'll be able to find the audio track mixer if it's not already in your panels. The first thing you want to do is go up to your window and open up the Essential Sound panel. Go ahead and select all your dialogue and then click Dialogue in the Essential Sound panel. Underneath the loudness section, click Auto Match. This makes all of your dialogue roughly the same loudness. And then with all of the dialogue still selected, go down to the bottom of the Essential Sound panel and you can adjust the volume for all of the clips all at once.
Music matters to me because it sets the mood for the story that I'm trying to tell.
And now you can adjust your music so it sounds natural and isn't overpowering or too soft.
Music matters to me because it sets the mood.
Our music track is way too loud, so what we need to do is click the music in our timeline and then go over to the Essential Sound panel and assign music to it. Select ducking and make sure that the dialogue icon is selected at the left-hand corner and then click Generate Keyframes. This will generate keyframes so that it lowers against the volume of the dialogue.
Music matters to me because it sets the mood for the story that I'm trying to tell.
I want to lower it still a little bit more, so go ahead and click the amount that it ducks and generate keyframes one more time. And every once in a while, I like to adjust my keyframes manually, but the auto ducking is amazing for getting you just about there every time.
Music matters to me because it sets the mood.
When I'm editing a project and the soundtrack I initially choose isn't quite fitting like I hoped, this is where Epidemic Sound's music integration into Adobe Stock really comes in handy. You can find it in the Essential Sound panel in Premiere Pro. I can quickly preview what the music tracks sound like without distracting audio watermarks. And if your dialogue or music peaks at certain times or gets a little bit too loud, you can also apply a compressor to individual clips, entire tracks, or even the entire mix of all the audio. Under the audio track mixer, you can select Dynamics and apply this to a certain track or apply it to all the tracks on the far right hand side. I like to use the Soft Compressor preset, which subtly keeps the volume in check. But the key is to get your volume as close to possible first before using these effects. It's also very important to have your volume set correctly on your speakers. I usually leave my volume right in the middle. If it's set too low, you're going to want to naturally gravitate towards making your audio louder. And if your speakers are too loud, you're going to want to lower the volume too much. And this circles back to relying on your audio meters instead of just listening to what's coming out of your speakers. And if you don't have monitors for your computer, I'd recommend using some headphones, since sometimes computer speakers don't give an actual representation of what's coming out. And before you share your video with the world, it's also very important to export it and play it on your phone and TV. That way you can listen to make sure it sounds good on multiple devices rather than just your computer. And I usually ask my wife or a friend to take a listen as well, and a lot of times they'll tell me if the music is too loud or too soft, or if my dialogue isn't loud enough. So having the second set of ears is very important, guys. So the big takeaway for this video is pretty simple. Set the volume of your dialogue and then adjust your music accordingly. Because every track is a bit different, you'll have to lower the volume depending on how loud it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and we'll see you on the next one.